do it, bro. I'm talking about some goddamn criminal psychology. I ain't gonna lie, I've been on this shit bad. I ain't gonna tell. I don't know why. It's just interesting how stupid people be when they be committing crimes. You would think they'll be smarter when they're doing shit that's against the law, but we're locked in with this shit.
She even said, I think he's the kind of person that's gonna try to kill me. And he did. And he did. Oh my God. I know he did this. He's an evil person. He cannot get away with this. He cannot get away with this.
This is Teresa Collard. Her 24-year-old daughter, Alyssa Burkett, was just shot in the face while
Wait. Now the title say Holly thinks she can manipulate everybody. So I'm gonna assume that Holly killed her daughter, Alyssa. Now I ain't gonna count. If she killed her daughter, that's crazy. What possible reason would you have to take your own child out? That's kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
sitting in her park.
Oh shit. I'm gonna try not to pause so much because I'm gonna post this on YouTube. But that's crazy.
Was overheard by one of Alyssa's co-workers who was slackishly playing Minesweeper at their desk. Startled by the gunfire, they immediately dialed 911.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Someone came up and just shot my assistant manager.
Where is the shooter?
I don't have enough information. He's gone. He left in his car. He literally left a second ago.
Officers from the Carrollton, Texas Police Department were dispatched to an apartment leasing office at 1120 MacArthur Drive. As they walked toward the building, they passed a gray Toyota Corolla with a single bullet hole in the driver's side window. They also noticed a knife sheath on the sidewalk, lying right outside the front entrance.
I ain't gonna count. They came up to the window and shot one time.
Was Alyssa, who appeared to be unresponsive. In addition to the gunshot wound to her face, she was also covered from head to toe in deep lacerations. By this point, medics had arrived at the scene, so officers finished securing the perimeter while Alyssa received medical attention. But unfortunately, the medics were too late. At 9:12 a.m., Alyssa Burkett was pronounced dead. The forensic unit proceeded to set up a tent in order to
if that was her mama, bro, that's crazy. I gotta hear why she
examine Alyssa's body. Meanwhile, the officers finished securing the area and began interviewing several witnesses who all said that Alyssa was ambushed.
We're just getting our day started.
Okay. Were you here when everything happened?
Yes, I was sitting at my desk.
Apparently, Alyssa pulled her vehicle into her parking spot at around 9 a.m., just in time for work. Little did she know, her killer was just a few spots over, sitting in a black Ford SUV. He exited his vehicle, ran up to Alyssa, and fired his shotgun into her driver's side window.
So, like, what did she hire somebody to kill her daughter? Like,
I'm confused, bro. I turned around, I knew it was a gunshot.
Alyssa's co-workers panicked and stayed inside the building to protect themselves from the active shooter. The suspect jumped back into his vehicle and began to flee the scene, until Alyssa, covered in blood, exited her car and stumbled over to a window near the front entrance. As she banged on the window, begging for help, the attacker then ran up to her again and stabbed her several times. The attacker then jumped into his vehicle again and fled the scene for good.
Did you see him holding the knife?
Yeah, in the hand.
Don't touch anything, okay?
The investigators gathered around to inspect Alyssa's vehicle.
She got shot in the car.
Okay.
You can see her handprints.
During this inspection, they discovered a tracking device hidden in one of the wheel wells. The device is collected for evidence, and while investigators took photos of the vehicle, the lead detective contacted Alyssa's family to inform.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It had to be somebody close. If they was, you know what I'm saying, they plotted enough to put a tracking device on her car.
Inform them of the tragic news.
We're gonna start having family members show up here.
Not long after, Alyssa's mother Teresa showed up at the crime scene completely devastated, bringing us right back to the moment at the beginning of this video.
She even said, I think he's the kind of person that's gonna try to kill me. And he did. And he did. Oh my God.
The person Teresa is referring to is 33-year-old Andrew Beard, the father of Alyssa's daughter. Andrew has a successful career at Hilti Tool Services.
Now, just looking at him, I don't know, man. You can't even really look at people and just tell how they are no more, bro. Like, it's...
He goes on frequent vacations, lives in a big house, and has his own airplane. After going on a few Tinder dates with Andrew, the relationship went stale, but soon after, Alyssa found out she was pregnant. Once their daughter was born, a tumultuous custody battle ensued.
Hi everyone, my name's Alyssa. This past year I have been going through a custody battle, a very ugly one. I have a 1-year-old child. It's taken a toll on my mental and physical health. With that being said, I've become a lot stronger in the process, and I guess just my message is no matter what you're going through, stick it out, you can do it, and stay strong.
Despite her
I
positive
ain't gonna count.
outlook,
Her eyes gonna keep creeping me out. People eyes. Her eyes like these type of contact
And
people,
I
bro.
guess
Like these
just
are
my
real eyes.
message is no matter what
What the fuck? That's kind of creepy.
Despite
Nah.
her positive outlook, Alyssa's finances
Sound
were
creepy.
crumbling behind the scenes. However, in March of 2020, things seemed to take a turn for the better. The two reached an agreement regarding the custody of their daughter Willow and child support. By April, they were finally able to move on with their lives. Alyssa started dating a man named Ben, and Andrew started dating a woman named Holly, who he proposed to after
That boy got a type. That boy got a type. That boy got a type. I ain't gonna lie, Shawty look just like, if that ain't her, that might be her. I don't know, but Shawty look just like the other girl.
just 1 month together. In the first conversation between
Oh yeah, look at them. Only difference is she black and she blonde. Like they down. Look at their lips. They're down there identical.
Alyssa and Holly, things looked promising. Holly texted Alyssa, "Look forward to having a super healthy relationship with you and Ben." Alyssa responded, saying, "I hope your influence helps because I'd love nothing more than for all of us to have a healthy relationship." However, it turned out that this healthy relationship was nothing but a pipe dream. In September, just a month before Alyssa was murdered, a man named Frank called 911 to report that Alyssa was selling drugs out of the back of her car while at work.
I saw what I thought looked like someone just.
No, I ain't gonna lie. Nah, that's OD. You feel me? I don't promote selling drugs, but I ain't gonna lie. If it ain't harming you, what you snitching for? You feel me? He went out his way to call the police and tell them that she was selling drugs. When they ain't causing him no type of harm. He just happened to see it. That's crazy.
Selling some drugs out of their truck, and I could smell it and I could see it. And
Okay, what kind of vehicle is it?
it's a little Toyota Corolla. I have a license plate if that helps.
Okay, great. What was your last name?
Morrow.
Officers went to Alyssa's workplace to investigate these claims. Inside her trunk, they found cash, drugs, and a pistol. However, it was
Damn, she was
determined that
thugging.
Alyssa had no real connection to these items. Somebody had planted them. Although the police believed that Andrew was responsible for this, there was ultimately not enough evidence to place any charges.
I knew that it was him when the drugs didn't work in the car for him to get the baby.
Alyssa also expressed to her friends that Andrew always seemed to know where she was and that she would frequently run into him on her nights out. Because of this, she became fearful for her life and began sending paranoid texts to her friends. "Come over while I walk inside. Do you see anyone around you? Lock the door behind you. He is
Like at this point, you gotta get a restraining order or something. You gotta get cameras at the spot. You got to get you a blick, some mace, a little pocket knife, something. If you feel like this, you need something. I ain't gonna lie.
going to try to get someone to kill me next." Just a month before the attack, Alyssa started a GoFundMe to help with the legal fees of the custody battle, where she wrote, "At this point, I am scared for my life and my daughter's life.
I know he did this. He's an evil person.
It's a sad
He cannot get
situation,
away
though.
with this.
Whoever
What's
did it,
scared Teresa
it's just a sad situation with she even going through with her little girl. That
even more was that on the day of the murder, Andrew had custody of Willow.
Yes, I want my grandbaby away from him. Oh my God.
But wait, how could Andrew be the killer if the witnesses said they saw a black male? Even if this was true, it's still possible that Andrew was involved in the planning of this attack.
She apparently has had a history with baby daddy.
Andrew Beard is the suspect?
Yes.
The police send units to Andrew's home and put out a bolo for his white F-150, as well as the killer's black Ford SUV. Within hours, Andrew's truck was spotted, and he was pulled over for a traffic violation. After following an order to exit his vehicle, he was immediately handcuffed.
My part was to just find you. That's all they asked me to do.
Sitting in the passenger seat was Andrew's new fiancée, Holly Elkins. She was removed from the vehicle and handcuffed as well. But
Bro, how that
Holly
look
wasn't the
real?
only
What the fuck?
passenger. Willow was also in the truck, safe and sound.
The daughter's in a car seat in the back seat. They've been pretty cooperative.
There wasn't enough evidence linking Andrew to Alyssa's death, so he and Holly were free to go. Due to the custody agreement, they were allowed to take Willow with them. But instead of going home, they were taken to a nearby Airbnb to stay at for the time being. Andrew's F-150 was seized, and a search warrant for the couple's home was executed later that night.
Carrollton Police Department search warrant. If you're in there, come out with your hand up.
During the search, police found an envelope covered in writing with details of Alyssa's workplace and a description of her vehicle. They also found the name Frank Morrow, the person who called 911 to report Alyssa for dealing drugs. Police also discovered a charger and batteries for the tracking device that was found on Alyssa's vehicle.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. This nigga was on some nuts.
So we found this GPS tracker box.
Back at the station, Andrew's truck was being searched as well. They found a backpack in the back seat, and inside the bag there was a pair of men's hiking boots that were soaked in bleach and had been cut into pieces, as well as 2 bottles of dark brown makeup. Detectives now believed that Andrew used this.
Nah. That's crazy. This nigga put his ex up. He put, bro, to kill your child, mama. How do you even explain that to your child when she grow up? I ain't gonna cap. He low-key thought he had it all mapped out. That boy had black makeup to disguise himself as a black man as he was dressed in all black.
Makeup to disguise himself during the attack. Investigators also discovered that Andrew had recently bought a black Ford Expedition just
he
days before
definitely-
Alyssa's murder.
he
They were
definitely
able to
did.
locate it on a random suburban street less than a mile away from his house. Using the SUV's GPS location data, they determined that he abandoned it there at about 9:30 a.m., a half hour after Alyssa's attack. They believed that this person
Why did they say Holly thinks she can manipulate everyone? Did he like? Why does the title say that? 'Cause, I mean, it's clearly leaning towards he did it.
caught on a nearby home security camera was Andrew running through the neighborhood after abandoning the vehicle. While searching the vehicle, investigators found multiple blood stains that were confirmed through DNA testing to be from Alyssa. They also found Andrew's beard, fake facial hair you might see someone wear on Halloween. With the discovery of all of this evidence, Andrew was contacted and told that he would be arrested if he didn't turn himself in. The next day, he came down to the station to do just that.
Andrew Beard,
Andrew was booked into the Dallas County Jail, and his bail amount made it unlikely that he would get out anytime soon.
Beard's bond is set at $1 million. He is currently in the Dallas County Jail charged with murder, and police say it's very clear this killing was not random, it was planned, and it was personal.
A few days later, his fiancée Holly volunteered to speak with the police. She vouched for her husband-to-be and claimed that the idea of him doing something like this was complete nonsense.
I can't believe that my fiance would do something like that to a woman or to anybody.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. For him to do it, and it's just that's his, that boy last name Beard, but that is crazy. I ain't gonna cap. You remember Coach Beard from W.D. Robinson? It was a lady. Older black lady. I ain't gonna cap. She used to have that little Fantasia cut. It's Beard. But I ain't gonna lie though, that's crazy for him to do that to his child. I'm reading my chat, by the way. I am on stream.
But a woman. So I just told all my friends and family that I'm engaged to the most wonderful man on the planet.
Yeah.
And now people want me to believe that he's not that.
And there are so many emotional roadblocks for you to try to believe that. I get that. I'm telling you, there's a side of him that you do not know.
The detective spent over an hour trying to convince Holly that Andrew was a killer, hoping they would come out of the interview with a key witness to testify against him in court. But Holly refuted any suggestion that Andrew was responsible, claiming that he was actually home with her at the time of the murder.
There are a few hours that you know he was not in that house.
You cannot tell me that I feel that way, sir.
I can tell you that because I know that for a fact that he was out of the house, Holly.
I don't know that for a fact. That's what my problem is. I am a total stage 5 clinger girlfriend. I'm always up his ass. I find it hard to believe. I want to help. I really do. But I don't have any answers. I'm trying to help and no one's helping me. I just feel bad to not help something that I think is very sad that happened. I've literally cried myself to nauseam every single night over this.
Holly was adamant that Andrew had nothing to do with Alyssa's death, but the detectives weren't buying it. They suspected that Holly was covering up for Andrew. Holly realized this and told them that she would get a lawyer if she had to.
I don't want or need a lawyer because I don't have anything to hide. Yeah. Well, I feel like the dumbest...
I ain't gonna count, Shawty. You definitely need a lawyer. Because I ain't gonna count. Your husband, your fiance, whatever he is, they're gone. He over with it. They found everything they needed to find to convict him for this. He basically already guilty. It ain't even no point in him getting a lawyer. They already found everything. They found the tracker. They found a paper with her job and the people's name connected to stuff that had happened to her license plate, black makeup. They found the car though. You feel me? He cooked. It ain't even no point of wasting no money on no lawyer.
Manipulated woman on the entire planet, if this is true? Yes.
It seemed that both sides of the table had their minds made up, so the interview was concluded and Holly went back to her Airbnb. The GoFundMe set up for Alyssa's custody battle was repurposed to help with her funeral costs and any future legal fees. With the help of the community, it raised over $6,000. On October 8th, 2020, 6 days after Alyssa was killed, the funeral took place at Rest Haven Memorial Park. Her obituary read, "Alyssa was strong-willed, ambitious, fiercely determined, and driven. She had many friends, and she was a natural leader among them. Her presence will be deeply missed by everyone who knew and loved her." Also, Alyssa's family and friends posted online about the positive effect she had in their lives. For example, one of Alyssa's loved ones posted, "Alyssa represented a strong, kind, and determined leader. She left an impression on me that will last my entire life." Unexpectedly, 2 weeks after turning himself in, on October 21st, Andrew's bail of $1 million was
Wow. But you know when you get a bail, you only pay 10%. So if his bail was 1 million, that means he had 100,000 put up that he could just pay to get out of jail. That's crazy. He low key just wasted money. He should have saved that for when he go to prison, because that nigga is dealt for OD guilty.
Paid and he was released.
A Rowlett man accused of shooting, then stabbing to death the mother of his child is free on bond this afternoon. And the victim's family believes he is a threat to public safety.
He was taken to the Dallas County Courthouse, fitted with an electronic GPS ankle monitor, and released for home confinement.
Is that nigga cockeyed?
Placed on
that
bail.
Nigga look crazy. I ain't gonna lie. First picture didn't look crazy, but now he's starting to look like he losing.
After a $1 million bond was paid on his behalf.
With news of Alyssa's killer being released, her family was terrified of him coming after them as well. Another serious concern was that he could flee from the authorities and Alyssa wouldn't get the justice she deserved. Alyssa's grandfather pointed out that Andrew was a pilot, making him a literal flight risk.
The family of Alyssa Burkett wants to know why someone paid for that release. They believe he should still be behind bars.
He is a flight risk himself. He has a pilot's license and he has an airplane that the police have
brother like the KFC man and everything. That boy got some crisp white
not
hair.
been able to locate yet.
The Carrollton Police Department decided to
on that thing, he don't look like the KFC man. Oh, bro, pull up the real picture. Oh, I blew it. I blew it. Look at this shit. He looked just like bro. I blew it though. It took me too long to deliver.
Get the FBI involved. And just 8 days after being released, Andrew was once again taken into custody.
A Rowlett man accused of murdering the mother of his child has been arrested on a new charge.
Andrew Beard now faces a federal firearms charge. He recently bonded out of jail after being arrested for the murder of Alyssa Burkett.
So you telling me you get out of jail for a murder that you know you did, and obviously they know you did. I don't even know how you got a bond. And you on an ankle monitor, you're supposed to be on house arrest, and you got caught with a gun. Boy, I could. I ain't gonna lie, he old.
Yeah, Heather and Steve, many people could not believe that Andrew Beard was out of jail after posting a $1 million bond. Now the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Texas has found a way to charge him federally, and he is right back behind bars. Now, Beard is back in jail on a federal charge of possessing an unlicensed firearm silencer.
It turns out that during the search...
Silencer. Nah, I ain't gonna lie, you can't have no silencer. That shit gotta be licensed by, like, the governor. Or, like, something like that. You can't have no silencer. That shit's so illegal. That shit like equivalent to a switch. Low key.
Of his home, an unregistered silencer was found, which warranted an arrest under federal law.
They did see that it was a homemade silencer. It did not have any serial numbers or manufacturing markings.
The ATF says it has no records of Beard legally owning a silencer and that the silencer has no manufacturer markings or a serial number.
Andrew's charges were eventually changed to stalking using a dangerous weapon resulting in death and discharging a firearm during a crime of violence. He sat behind bars for the next year and a half. During this time, Teresa was given full custody of Willow. They consistently visited Alyssa's grave and held a
Oh, they said Holly because this is girl. I'm tripping.
memorial event in her honor.
What is that? Balloon.
As for Holly,
That's
she
just
left
sad as
Texas
fuck,
and
bro.
went back to her home state of Michigan, cutting off all communication with Andrew. She got a new condo, a new fancy car, and a new boyfriend.
God, don't look real. Look at her fucking smile.
She left Texas and went back to her home state of Michigan, cutting off all communication with Andrew. She got a new condo, a new...
What the fuck? That teeth definitely fake. She look like she, I don't know how I'm gonna be getting
fancy
Botox or
car
some shit.
and a new boyfriend. Then, on July 15th, 2022, Andrew suddenly requested to speak with the prosecutors. He wanted to make a plea deal. They were able to quickly come to an agreement. As part of this plea deal, he sat down with the detectives and shared his side of the story. He claimed that Holly was the mastermind behind everything. She desperately wanted the perfect family with Andrew and Willow, and would stop at nothing to make this dream come true. He started by citing an incident that happened 2 months before Alyssa's death. On August 6th, 2020, Holly called 911 saying that she had been assaulted by Alyssa's mother, Teresa. 2 officers were sent to Holly's house to investigate these claims.
The grandmother.
Apparently, while grabbing Willow out of Holly's lap, Teresa attacked.
She literally attacked me from behind side. I was facing the lake.
The officers took pictures of Holly's injuries,
I have a
No. Oh, you have some on your stomach? Okay.
and it was immediately obvious that the red marks on her chest and stomach were not inflicted by another person. Holly's plan failed miserably, so she decided to step it up a notch. She came up with another plan to frame Alyssa for drug trafficking.
If you were to ask me,
Damn, so he wasn't even the minds behind all this shit. She was the minds behind this shit. But he still was allowing it to happen to his child's mother. So he just as sick as her. And then even if she did set up the murder of her, he still the one went and executed it. So they didn't need to be in jail together. Like, she need to go to jail for whatever he go to jail for. They basically need to charge her with murder too.
whose idea was what?
They're gonna charge her with murder for hire. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if that's murder for hire because she probably ain't paid this nigga. She probably just mapped it out. He probably did it for free. This nigga killed his child mother for free. Fucking idiot. It don't matter.
Drugs and the planning of drugs was Elkins.
But as we already know, this plan failed as well. At this point, Holly's patience was wearing thin, so she told Andrew that it was time to get serious.
It was made very clear to me that your previous methods aren't working. This is what you're going to do now in order to prove that that you're worthy.
Holly became increasingly manipulative towards Andrew.
I ain't gonna cap after this game. I mean, not, but that's how you know I've been on the game all damn day, bro. I've literally been on the game since I woke up and got out of bed, bro. But after this video, I don't know if I want to play 2K or do some more videos. I lucky want to play some 2K. I want to shower, bro. But I lucky want to wait till I get off stream so I can just get to bed. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Constantly calling his masculinity into question by texting him things like, "I don't want anyone who is a p to some lowlife or a pushover. I want a
Damn.
man who protects his woman and child before anyone and doesn't give two fucks otherwise."
Like, I was emotionally drained. And at that point, I just basically said, okay, and became submissive to whatever she wanted me to do. That's the.
I ain't gonna count, bro. I love my girl to death, but it ain't no way my girl finna get me to goddamn go kill somebody for her. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like if you really want somebody dead, you should be man enough or woman enough or anything enough to do it yourself. Especially in a situation like this. Like if I had a baby mama and I got with another girl, and then my girl wanted me to kill my baby. I'm not killing. Bro. I'm not killing nobody that I share a child. Come on, bro. That shit sick as fuck, bro. You gonna kill the lady that pushed out your child? She risked her life for your daughter, for y'all daughter, and you gonna kill her? Like, bro, that's
task I did.
Holly also told Andrew that they
crazy,
needed
bro.
to get rid of
I can't
Alyssa
comprehend.
once and for all.
It was you're going to dress up as a different person. Essentially, you're going to wear this dark makeup. That was her plan. That was how it's going to be done. It does look planned out because it was. The process was planned out.
A week and a half before the murder, she went on vacation to Mexico, but continued to pressure Andrew while she was away. She texted him, "I'm not coming home to bullshit. I hope you handle it." Andrew responded, saying,
She looked like a little nutcase.
"That's my goal." Then Holly said, "Well, it will be a whole different conversation if I feel like you are a ride or die."
Why the fuck? Why it sound like she was the draws in the relationship? Like she the one got all the pull. She talking to this nigga like he her bitch. I mean, yeah. It's like roles reverse. Usually a man will be talking to his girl like this, talking about ride or die. It's the girl talking to the man like this. What's going on?
If not, then IDK. By the time Andrew carried out the murder, Holly was back from her vacation and stayed home with Willow while the attack occurred. The detectives asked Andrew why he went back to finish the job after Alyssa got out of her vehicle to seek help. He said he believed the gunshot wound was fatal and that he wanted to put her out of her misery. But according to the forensic pathologist, Alyssa was stabbed a total of 44 times.
Bro, I can understand you shooting somebody, bro. It don't take nothing for you to shoot somebody and get up out of there. But you stood there and stabbed her 44 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. What? Bro, that is crazy, bro.
The
That's
detective,
crazy, bro.
this seemed a bit overkill.
I ain't gonna lie, you gotta watch out for people like or you just gotta watch your surroundings, bro. There's some dead-ass people in this world,
For a
bro.
so-called mercy killing. They found it extremely unlikely that Andrew was a mere victim of Holly's manipulation and believed that Andrew was downplaying his own desires to kill Alyssa. Following this interview, Andrew was sent back to the detention center to await his sentencing hearing. In a press release announcing Andrew's plea deal, the U.S. Attorney, Chad Meacham, released a statement saying, "This was a brutal, bloody crime. Miss Burkett's daughter is now suffering twin tragedies. Her mother is deceased, and her father is a confessed killer. We pray for strength for this child and for the rest of her family in the days, weeks, and years to come." For the next
Hell yeah, especially when she grow up. That girl ain't gonna never be the same, bro. Once she found out what happened to her parents, bro, like, she gotta grow up knowing that she don't got her mama or her daddy in her life. Because her daddy killed her mama and her daddy in jail for the rest of his life, bro. And her mama dead. Like, why would you do that to your child, bro?
next 10 months,
That's so selfish, bro. That's so selfish, bro. That's so selfish.
detectives focused on building their case against Holly. Then,
That's a
in May
shame,
of
man.
2023, Andrew's sentencing took place. He received 43 years in federal prison. 2 months later, in July,
Yeah,
Holly was
nobody got
returning to the
43
U.S.
years.
after another vacation, this time in the Dominican Republic. As she exited the plane at the Miami airport, she was arrested.
Fiance of a Rowlett man is now charged with helping to
good.
carry
They got
out the
her too.
murder of his ex-girlfriend.
amazing.
Federal prosecutors arrested Holly Ann Elkins in Miami. Now, you might remember this story. Andrew Beard pleaded guilty to shooting and stabbing 24-year-old Alyssa Burkett in 2020 as she arrived to work at a Carrollton apartment complex. They share a child. He's currently serving a 43-year sentence. This new indictment alleges Elkins helped plot
They gave him 43 years. They should have gave his a L. They should have gave that boy life. I ain't gonna care.
Not the killer.
I ain't gonna care. They gonna do him bad if they don't find out where he in off of anyway though. Like,
By stalking Burkett and brandishing a firearm.
Holly's arrest came as a shock to Alyssa's family, who up until this point had put all of the blame on Andrew.
It's bittersweet. You know, it brings up all the hurt of the loss, but we're glad that she's being held accountable for it. It's a challenge, and this arrest is, it came as a surprise. But the more details I find out about it, the more I realize that she played a really big part in this, and she's gone 2.5 years without any accountability. So
I hope she get at
I'm
least
glad
like
that,
10 or
that
15
she is being
years.
held accountable at this point.
She was charged with conspiracy to stalking using a dangerous weapon resulting in death, and brandishing a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. Her trial began on April 10th, 2024, and in their opening statement, the prosecution said, Andrew Beard is a monster, but he was Holly Elkins' monster. They outlined Holly's secret hatred for Alyssa, highlighting all of the special names she had for her in her phone records. They also outlined Holly and Andrew's toxic relationship turned deadly from beginning to end. Only 2 months into their relationship, Holly was already berating Andrew about Alyssa, texting things like, "Your BM owns."
Hold on, bro. They was finna get married and shit, bro. They was together from April to October. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Y'all was already finna get married. You get married to somebody you've been with for 7 months? I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know. That's kind of crazy. 7-month relationship to a marriage. That's kind of crazy.
Holly was all. You continue to put BM first. You choose to be IDK, for lack of a better term, submissive to her. I don't have want or need any bullshit from anyone. Around this time, she was also doing a ton of research into many different tracking devices. As you already know, Holly proceeded to harass Alyssa for the next several months leading up to her death. But the prosecution highlighted even more incidents that were discovered during the investigation into Holly. For example, Holly once placed a call to 911 under the fake name Amber, falsely claiming that Alyssa's car was driving erratically on the interstate. She also paid a private investigator to dig up dirt on Alyssa. This private investigator testified at the trial, saying that they found nothing incriminating. Once the timeline reached September, the jury began to see a murder plan unfolding. On September 13th, 2020, Holly and Andrew purchased the black Ford SUV. The next day, on September 14th, 2020, Holly purchased the dark brown makeup from a drugstore. 5 days later, on September 19th, 2020, using her location history, investigators determined that she had accompanied Andrew to a supercenter. There, they purchased the same ammunition from the crime scene and a Camillus knife, which matched the sheath. Then, on October 2nd, 2020, Andrew, dressed in a black rainsuit and disguised with makeup and a fake beard, shot Alyssa in the head with the shotgun, and after she stumbled out of her car to seek help, Andrew stabbed her 44 times. Her co-workers testified at trial that they found Alyssa covered in blood and gasping for air near the front door of the building.
My thing is, nah, I was trying to say, why they don't got no cameras outside the building? But this looked like a camera right here.
Prosecutors also presented a series of Google searches that Holly made right after her interview with police. They read, "Can I not be brought to court if I have a psychiatrist note? Vulnerable patients going to court? Contact psychiatrist in Dallas. Can I not be subpoenaed to jail if I have a mental issue?" In closing arguments, prosecutors said that all of this stemmed from Holly's obsession with getting custody of Willow. According to those inside the courtroom, Holly had zero emotion throughout the entire trial. After 7 days and just 90 minutes of deliberation, the jury had reached their verdict. Holly Elkins was found guilty on all counts. Family and friends rejoiced outside of the courtroom, thankful that justice was finally being served.
I don't know. I'm overwhelmed with emotions right now, really.
Yeah, it's got to be a big mix.
But happy, overwhelming emotions because finally, this has been a.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's just like really sad for that little girl, man. Her dad is gonna basically be in jail for the rest of his life. Because he killed her mom.
A
That's
long
sad
time
as hell.
coming.
What would Alyssa think about this?
I mean, she would be thrilled. I mean, I've been going to that gravesite since day one, telling her justice is going to be served.
A few months later, on August 15th, 2024, Holly Elkins received two
What the bro, food? Nah, that ain't the same pictures we've been seeing, bro. What the fuck?
2 life sentences to be served consecutively. She currently
Snoop, she got two, bro. She got more time than the man that actually shot her.
resides
That's
at
crazy.
FMC Carswell in Fort Worth, Texas, while Andrew Beard resides at USP Tucson in Arizona. As for Willow, Teresa is currently in the process of adopting her. They talk about Alyssa on a regular basis and routinely visit her grave,
Happy Mother's Day.
hoping to keep Alyssa's memory alive for her daughter.
Her baby
That's
gets up
sad
in the
as fuck,
morning and
bro.
goes right to a picture of her mother and picks it up and kisses it every day. On Mother's Day, she asked if she could take a gift to heaven and give it to her mother. So she's aware of it.
No funny shit, but I ain't gonna cap. That sound like cap. That sound like cap. A child said that, bro. A child said, "Can I take a gift to heaven and give it to my mother?" Now that might be true, and I might be wrong. That sound like cap to me though. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
She left such a big hole in our family, and of course, her beautiful daughter is with our family, and she's just like her in many ways. And so it's a constant reminder of that one of our tribe is missing. When someone says, "I'm glad you got closure," you know, sometimes I have to say, you know, it's not like that. Alyssa was, you know, the victim of an unprovoked attack. We can learn from it and we can integrate it into our lives, but I don't think you ever close the book totally on something like this, which is the way I feel about Alyssa. The book is still open with her.
I ain't gonna cap. That was a W video, but that was kind of crazy. That's kind of sad. All right, you too, man.